What's going on, everybody? Feder here from 3D Print SOS. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a slightly different video for you because in this video I want to unbox all of this stuff. All of this is going to somehow be incorporated in my future videos, and I've been collecting some of these products over the past few months. I've had some for months, I've had some for weeks, and I want to showcase them, open them up, take them out, and kind of explain each one and why I have it and what it's for and how I'm going to incorporate them into some of our future videos that are going to be here on this channel. I think some of these are really cool products, and I think they deserve their own little kind of spotlight before you just see them throughout my videos. But you know, with this type of video, I'm definitely going to have chapters or bookmarks. So if you scroll down a little bit and you, for example, don't want to see this filament, but you want to see this filament dryer, there will be a chapter or a bookmark down below so they can click it and jump to that portion of the video. Along with that, I will have links for all of this down below. So as I discuss it, if you're interested in any of these products, please use those links. They will be affiliate links and they help the channel greatly, even though they are at no cost to you whatsoever. So some of the stuff was sent to me by their companies. Some of the stuff I bought myself. None of it whatsoever requires me to say anything nice specifically about it. So just keep that in mind. I do get products on this channel in for review, but none of them I am ever obligated to say anything specific. So all of these opinions are just my first impressions and what I'm looking at. So I'm going to go ahead and take my little razor. I'm going to cut some of the stuff open so it's easier to get to. And well, let's get started. Alright, so let's get started with build plates. And the reason why I want to talk about build plates or build surfaces is because I've actually been collecting a bunch over the past couple months because I want to make a video comparing all the different kinds of options for a printer such as a VoxLab Aquila or a Ender 3. There's a lot of options out there right now. A lot of them are really cool. Some of them are basic, some of them are not. And I kind of want to get to know what else is out there and what has benefits over other things. So let's talk about the cheap one here. This is a roll of vinyl that has a carbon fiber texture. And the point of this, there's actually a whole lot of this comes in a single order, but the point of this is if you have a boring piece of glass or a damaged piece of glass, let me show you what I mean. For example, I have a glass build surface here. This one is from a Mingda Magician X, and one of the issues I had with it was it's actually a bit too sticky and it's really hard to get prints off. So when you have something like that, you have a couple options. One, you can buy something to replace it, or two, you can flip it over onto bare glass. And I used bare glass for many years. You just clean it really well, and PLA, TPU, PETG, things like that stick to it just fine. Along with that, you can put glue on it as well as an adhesive and a little barrier, and it helps with that as well. However, some might not like the mirror finish that you get on your prints. So if you need some kind of texture, you have other options out there, and this is a really intriguing one. I'm really excited to test this out. But essentially, this is vinyl with texture, like I mentioned. So you could take your build plate like this, you slap this on, you cut off the excess with the included little razor blade. You use this little spudger that they included to kind of make sure it's all glued on there nice and even without air bubbles. And the idea is that when you print on this carbon fiber texture, it comes off onto your print on the first layer. So if you're going to print something that needs to be flipped forward, now you're going to be looking at said item, this is going to be a perfect option. Now, I don't know how long something like this will last, but just by the looks of it, you get quite a bit. And this is a 235 by 235 sheet, and it's much larger than that. I would say, well, I'm not gonna guess. It's larger than that, so you get plenty of it in here. So that's really nice, and I'm excited to check that out. It's really inexpensive. I think it's under $10 on Amazon. Moving right along here, we have this. Let me try to explain what you're looking at here. These are built surfaces by a company called Grounduptech. So here, let me show you the smaller one that's on here. These are PEI spring steel sheets. It's particularly strong, and they are double-sided, and this is a custom handmade PEI spring sheet from India from Grounduptech. These both were made to order for me specifically. I can't wait to test it. So this one specifically is absolutely massive. And as you can see on the bottom here, I have my logo cut into it, laser cut into it, which is amazing. I bought this for $150. I'm not sure if that price is going to remain, but this was completely custom to order. I had to wait for it, and I got pictures of it being cut from the spring sheet steel all the way to the coating being made. It is just absolutely cool to not only see the process, but to be able to get something custom like this. And the big sheet here is 400 by 400, and yes, this will be going on the Ultimate Aquila build. I have not forgotten about it. I have actually been collecting a ton of different parts and really interesting things to add. So instead of flinging glass, I think we're going to be flinging this giant custom-made PEI sheet. So if you're interested in something like this, something custom made to order, these are obviously not nearly as expensive, the smaller sheets. These will be linked down below. Grounduptech. Can't wait to see what it's like compared to some really budget options that are out there now, especially for these regular sized PEI spring sheets. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's start off here. This is a single roll. Let's see what color we have here. This is matte black, I believe. Yeah, matte black. This is PETG from California Filament. Now, I've been sitting on a ton of this PETG, unfortunately, for months now. And California Filament was nice enough to send me a bunch of different rolls to test. So I've recently been developing my PETG profiles again for some of my other machines that I have here. And I'm really excited to say that this stuff prints amazing. So this is matte PETG. It prints really easily. As you can see, there's very little to no stringing whatsoever. Just quality stuff so far. So I've tried 3 different types of rolls so far. Translucent orange, red that you'll be seeing a little bit more a little bit later on the channel. Actually, I think that's off camera, but I have a bunch printed right over there for a modification for a VoxLab Aquila S2. And then this stuff I tested on a different roll because I actually have several of these black matte rolls. So yeah, so far this PETG has been really nice. Can't wait to feature more of it on the channel. If you guys want some quality PETG, they have a ton of different colors, probably more than I've ever seen of other PETG filaments. California Filament is definitely the way to go. Also, if you use my link down below, I think it gives you quite a big discount on your order. So definitely go ahead and check that out. There'll be an exact number of what the discount is next to the link to California Filaments. All right, let's keep going. All right, while we're talking about filament, let's go ahead and talk about this. This is the SunLu FilaDryer S2. And now I have been using a filament dryer. I think owning a filament dryer is actually really important. Even if you just use PLA or TPU, I still think drying your filament is pretty important, especially if it's been left out for a while. You're just going to get better prints on dry filaments, especially, I guess, depends on where you are. Like if you're more south and you have that moist air, definitely want to have one of these. So what I'll be comparing it to directly is the E-Box by Isan, and I have been really happy with that filament dryer. It has a lot of features that I specifically really like, but there's one feature, just one feature that I really don't like, and that's the fact that it doesn't give me an actual temperature readout. The temperatures on that one are 1 through 4, so you never actually know. Although I have always kept it on 4 and always do at least 8 hours, and it has worked really well, I still don't know any specs. So this obviously is going to be the complete and utter opposite of that, considering all of the information that you get on the screen. Also, speaking of that, the form factor looks really interesting. So let's go ahead and unbox it. So once again, I haven't opened any of these products, so you'll be checking it out with me. Whoops. Let's see here, amazing discount. Oh, look, a 25% off discount coupon code. You guys can enjoy it. 25% off SunLu, right over here. 25% off SunLu. If you guys want that, I'll also link it down below. next to the link to this filament dryer. So here we have a user guide. Looks pretty straightforward. Lots of pictures, which is always good. We have a Teflon tube. It's a spare, and it looks like there's 4 of them. All right. This little piece that fell out, I'm going to assume this is the power supply. Yep, looks like we have a power supply. Okay, let's get this out of the way. All right, let's get this guy open. Wow, okay, that actually looks really nice. I like the form factor, that's for sure. Let's give this a peel. Ooh, okay, so interesting. This has a heating element on the top and bottom. Do we have rollers? Yep, looks like we have rollers on the inside. Nice and clean. So I don't see a fan. Maybe that's on the bottom or built into the side. But that is another feature of the SunLuxe that I really like, is it not only has a fan to keep the air moving, but it also has a little space that you can put desiccant in to further get the moisture out of the filament, which is really nice, especially when it's all heated with moving air. Now, with this having the heating element on the top and bottom, that might not be necessary. Okay, and I see what the little Teflon tube is for. This is where you actually take the filament out of. So it doesn't look like there is a PTFE tube like the SunLuxe does, but that's okay. Looks like it's just a little bit different. All right, so I will be testing this, especially when we're doing PETG or anything else like nylon. This will definitely be used, and I'm really excited to see what this is all about. It's fairly light. I like the form factor. It's not going to get in the way. Yeah, so far so good. Obviously we haven't used it, but the fact that this box shows the temperature, it looks like the humidity levels, the materials, there's lots of settings on here. LED that you can turn on and off. There's a glowing LED, I guess, so you can easily see if it's on or not. Looks like there's a timer. Yeah, cool. I'm excited to test this. This is definitely a product that I've been very interested in. Just because, like I said, I'd really like to see a readout of some sort, and this has all of it. All right, let's keep going. All right, next up in the lineup is this. This is a really interesting product, and I can't get over the fact that they tried to use this little puppy theme for this. This is by a company called Mintion, and this is called the Beagle camera. Obviously, you can see why it's in the shape of a little dog because of its name. But basically, this is a way to monitor your printer. But not only that. Let's see what it says. It says plug and play, anywhere, anytime, auto time lapse, compatibility, browser access, temp monitor. Well, you can't quite tell what it does whatsoever from the box. But this is actually a lot more than what it seems. Right now, with all of the Raspberry Pi shortages that we're having, this is where this comes in and becomes a really, really cool product, and I'm really excited to test it. I'm just taking everything out of the box. Looks like you get a little power adapter. Looks like a USB-C cable. Looks like a micro SD cable. So essentially, this is a replacement for something like an Octoprint setup. And what I mean by that is you point this at your printer, you use this cable to hook this camera up to your printer, and use this cable to power this camera. And essentially, this can fully control your 3D printer via an app through the air anywhere you are. Not only can it control it just like Octoprint can, but you can also view the camera in HD through this Beagle cam. So like I said, I think just the first impression is I can't imagine why, other than having a theme or the fact that they maybe retrofitted this technology from something of this shape, why it's a dog for 3D printing. I mean, I guess it is cute, but the functionality of this, if this works the way that they say that it does, should be unbelievable. I believe it costs around $50 or $60, and for that price, having an all-in-one tool that replaces a whole Raspberry Pi server and setup and includes a camera that works really well and has features built in like time-lapse, temperature monitoring, compatible with a bunch of different printers, up to 1080p, supports your 2.4 hertz 802.11 GNN Wi-Fi, plug and play. Yeah, this could also be a absolute game changer in printer management. So really looking forward to checking out the Beagle Cam by Mintion. And like I said, I think anytime I do a printer review, I'll plug this in and see how it does with some basic prints. Maybe something like a Benchy or a Cube, something along those lines. And we will get this thing nice and tested. All right, let's move right along. All right, something that goes really well with monitoring your printer is something like this. There's a bunch of these, but these are really affordable at the moment. And I think they were on some kind of crazy Amazon sale for like $2.50. I'm not even lying. I think these are under $10, and I think they're even cheaper when you buy them in bundles. But this is essentially a smart plug. This one specifically is TP-Link. It's called the Kasa Smart. And what this is a plug that you can use in conjunction with something like this Mintion Beagle Cam, where if you're watching your 3D printer and something is wrong and you're away from it, you can just use this via the app on your phone to turn it off. And I think that's really important, especially with some of these machines that are really budget oriented. Some of them do not have really well constructed wiring or power management. Some of them aren't crimped properly, and you're not going to open up your printer to check this stuff. You're going to just turn it on and print. And if you are leaving your machine on or you're doing long overnight prints, something like this camera along with something like this could really be a game changer in terms of safety and just you know, keeping in the back of your head that everything is going to be okay. You can use this to monitor, to make sure everything is okay, and if something is going nuts and going haywire, not only can you just stop the machine, but you can outright turn it off, which I think could also be a power saver. Let's say you're printing something while you're at work, the print finished, you saw it on your Beagle Cam, then go into this app and just turn your machine off once the Hotend has cooled, and now it's not wasting any power whatsoever in your house. So really inexpensive, nice little safety feature, absolutely plug and play, easy setup, gotta love it. This is the TP-Link Kasa Smart Plug, and I'll definitely be using this in my future printer videos. All right, let's keep going. All right, here we have another product by Haldis 3D. If you guys have been watching my channel for a little while, you guys know that I checked out the Haldis Red Lizard, I believe, the Hotend. It's a really affordable Hotend, and it works really well for a lot of people. I know a lot of people are really happy with them, and I do plan on using it really shortly in a video, actually, about the Voxlab Aquila S1, S2, and I forget what all these are called. There's so many names, but that Hotend is going to be used. And this is another product by them, and a really inexpensive one. I believe these are around $15 right now, and these are BMG style extruders, and they're very easy to upgrade your machine with, and I like these over a bunch of other ones, not only because they're really inexpensive, but I hear nothing but really great things about them and the way that they work. So essentially you have a lot of different parts in here, and it adds a gear another gear to your extruder, which means filament gets grabbed from both ends. If you are getting a budget machine such as the Voxlab Aquila, for example, one of the first things that tends to go wrong on these machines is the extruder or the extruder arm, and this is one way to ensure you do not run into that problem. But also this gives you a lot of different upgradability. If you're going to go direct drive later, there's a bunch of tricks you can do. You can install a direct drive directly into this, or a Hotend directly into this. There's lots of things you can do with this, but you can also just install it as a Bowden. Everything that you need comes in here to do so. All you have to do is change your E-steps, and then there's lots of ways you can do that, and it's an easy thing to do once you have this installed. But essentially, I like the fact that you can see through it. You can see the filament. Let's see if this is screwed together or not. Alright, so it's not screwed together, so I can show you the inner workings of it. So here's the nice part. These are geared. So the gears have bearings on both sides. They spin really smoothly, and essentially this part clamps down so the filament goes right in between here. And when your extruder spins this gear, both sides of the gearing clamp down onto your filament, giving you a lot more power and helping you print things like TPU, for example. So the other part that I like on this is the fact that if you guys know me, I know that I don't like PTFE couplers, and this has a decent coupler. You can hear it. Actually, the mic's over here. So when you hear that click, you know that it has those teeth that hold the tube really nicely, and you know you're not going to be slipping your Bowden tube. And yeah, listen to that. Good bearings in there, huh? So yeah, these dual drive extruders, really inexpensive, comes with everything that you need, looks really nice, inexpensive, works well. The Haldis BMG dual gear extruder. Let's keep going. All right, next up we have a set of tools. Now, this is not going to be for everybody. So I have been using this toolkit on the channel pretty much for as long as I can remember. And people always ask me, hey, what tools am I using? And I always have a hard time answering because this not only is not branded, but it doesn't have, you can't get them anymore. They've been discontinued. But essentially it's a nice metal little screwdriver. It has a ton of bits for everything. This thing is double-sided. It came with nice pair of tweezers that I use pretty much daily. All kinds of other useful little tools in here. It's magnetic, so it's easy to put away and snap the cover back on like this. Also, when you flip this over, it has these little grates so that when you can set this down and put hardware right into here as you're working. So this thing has been really nice, and I haven't been able to find anything similar. If you guys come across something that's even close to this and this much usability, please let me know. But on my hunt to find something similar, I came across a company called Hoto, and these guys are definitely very design oriented. It's not meant for, these tools that they have are meant for home use. They're not necessarily professional like DeWalt would be or Milwaukee or something along those lines. However, they're very aesthetically pleasing, and the reason why I brought up my tool set is because if you guys saw something like my crawler build, my hands were hurting so bad after something like that, and I've always wanted a rechargeable automatic screwdriver set, and this is it. I saw these guys on social media. I reached out. I'm like, hey, I need something like this. I want to showcase it in case it works for people with 3D printers. And they sent me this little kit. I know they have a ton of other ones, but I wanted to start with this because it's nice and small. And right off the bat, I noticed the bits that are included in here, and I can say the majority of them will not be very useful for 3D printing specifically. Some of them are, but definitely not most of them. They have kind of obscure bits in here for electronics, which will be very useful if you work on your own stuff. However, one of the benefits of this, if you could see by this kit, is the bits are the same size as something like this. And bits like this are very inexpensive on Amazon. So let's go ahead and check this out. Looks like we have a little cable to recharge. Very well packaged. Make it happen. I mean, you know, they spent extra money on getting the inside printed. Definitely design oriented. Also worth mentioning, this is very heavy. I guess I didn't expect it to be aluminum, but I feel like it is. Oops, I ripped that. Wow, this looks very high quality. Look at that shine. So the bottom here is molded plastic. It feels like the top is aluminum. Wow. The hinge feels like I'm holding something expensive. That's cool. Yeah, so just like I mentioned, the bits in here, look how neat and tidy everything is. The bits in here are very similar to mine down there, so I know that I'll be able to make them work. Cool, let's see what this thing is like. It's held in there really tightly. There's arrows for everything. Let's put in one of these hex bits. Okay, that's magnetic. So we have a USB charging on the back. Nice weight to it. Here's about the size of it in my hand. Actually, let's get my old tool out. So this is what I've been using forever. And this is not that much bigger, which is really nice. It's not even that much thicker, which is also really nice. We all know that that's going to get in the way, but let's see. Can I hold it? Wow, okay. Okay. I'm trying to hold it as hard as I can, and I haven't charged it. Okay, should be good. So this is another thing that you'll definitely be seeing me use in my videos. Like I mentioned, I've wanted to use something like this for a long time. One of the things that I noticed on cheap versions of these things is when you use them, but then you stop and you want to just hand torque it, they don't lock out. And this looks like it does lock out, so you'll still be able to use it manually. Another thing I just noticed is it has this texture. It has this texture on it, and what's interesting about the texture is it makes it easier for you to grip. So yeah, that's nice. Looking forward to using this in my videos. If you guys are interested in something like that, check it out. And here's something else that I just noticed. There's a little icon here with some text, and it says, the bit touches here for 5 seconds to complete magnetizing. Wow, interesting text, but it looks like if you literally take this tip, you put it here on this magnet, you rub it for about 5 seconds, and this tip will be magnetized. I have a separate tool for that for mine, but the fact that that's integrated into this little box, very nice. This is definitely a very high quality toolkit. So if that's something that you value, definitely check out Hoto tools down below in the description. I'm going to set this thing up to charge, and well, let's keep going. All right, moving right along, we have a super exciting product here. This might be one of the coolest things on the channel just as a whole, but this is by a company called Revopoint, and some of you might already know what that's all about. This is a 3D scanner. Let's see, it's called the POP 2 3D scanner. Gotta love the box in the box. So here is what the package includes. We have a small handheld scanner, a tripod, and a rotation plate. Oh, wow. Wow, okay. We have a beautiful leather soft touch case. All right, so we have a manual and a warranty card. Okay. We have a little figurine, and obviously this little bust is here because I'm assuming this is the perfect example for something that can be replicated via the scanner. So that's nice. This is about the size of an object that I would use this for. All right, so here is the rotation platter, whatever you guys want to call it. Looks like it runs off of 3 AA batteries. Turntable, that's the right word for this. I don't even know what I've been calling it. It looks like it can also be powered via 5-volt DC. So any standard little mini USB, micro USB will make this work. That's nice. There is a whole bunch of things in here. I'm assuming this is the unit itself. Yeah, so it has some heft to it. Okay, and of course I smudged it right away. All right, so here is the unit itself. Looks like there is a USB 3.0 type of connector on the back and a little play button. Looks like a cold shoe / hot shoe type of mount on the bottom. Let's see how it slides in here. There's a little button on the side. Yep, looks like it uses a GoPro mount to hold itself. Nice little tripod. There's a little button that secures it in place. Nice little click. Here, let's set it up right here for a second. Let's see what's in the other side. It's got some weight to it. Okay, so we have a... This is a battery pack, isn't it? Yeah, okay, so this is showing full power. So this is a battery pack and has an input and an output. Very interesting. When I did some research on this, I didn't really look at everything that's included with it. I kind of just looked at what it's capable of doing. So it's interesting to discover. So this is a phone mount. So right, so if you needed a small object to be scanned, you could put it on the turntable and use this desktop mode to be able to scan the object. But if you needed something large, let's say you're making a part for a car that you needed to actually go outside and scan, there is a way to have this mounted onto something like this, where your phone would act as the display for the scanner, so you can actually see what's happening and what you're doing. So it has an app and a scanner, and it looks like this attaches right to the top here. Yep, like that. It would go in this way. That way you would have your phone. Here, let's see, I'll do the whole setup. So it would go this way, you'd be able to hold it like this, and your phone would go right into here so that you could see what you're actually scanning. Really cool, and that gives you, that's what the point of the portable power. So if you have it on here, you're plugging it in directly into power, and if you're using this, that's how you're getting this thing. Cool. Okay, the POP 2. Let's see, there's so much more stuff. So we have cable for portable turntable. Okay, so cable. 2-in-1 mobile cable. I see a USB-C. Oh, okay. Let me just show you what this is. The mobile cable. Look at this plug. So it has a USB 3.0 plug. However, it has these little screws that attach into here so that you don't pull out the power by accident. And the other side is USB-C. Very nice. That is a nice touch. Let's see what else we have. USB-C to micro B 3.0 cable. Looks like it's another one, and it's a little bit heftier and a little bit longer. So this is something that you can use on your desk, whereas this is good for portability. USB-A 3.0 to B. Okay, so this is another one where you could use your regular plug, something like an iPhone charger block you could use with this and hook it up directly into the USB 3.0. Alright, so we have a nice sticky foam pad for the top of the turntable so that things don't slip off of it. Looks like we have some sort of cloth, and all this I'm assuming is going to be in the directions, and I'm sure there's videos. So these little stickers actually help to scan an object. So sometimes when the surface is too reflective or it's too dull and you can't see quite the shape of it, you can use these stickers to put them on top of it so that when you're scanning, it has a better idea of the shape, and you can get a more accurate scan. Oh, interesting. So this looks like is a larger turntable. Nice. So this goes on top of the small turntable to make it a bigger turntable, and these dots have a similar idea. When you use this and you have an object sitting in the middle, when this spins or you spin around with your scanner, you're going to get a much more accurate 3D scan using something like this. There's so much in here. Looks like this is the last bit that's in there. It says holds down. Oh, okay, this is putty. Some of that like non-sticky putty that you can mount really easily and quickly something to so that it doesn't fall. And this looks like, well, I don't know. Let's take it out. Oh, this must be a background for an object. Yep. Okay, so this is a little like tripod, little setup, so you can put this in the background of an object when you're scanning it in case something is busy or you just can't quite get a reliable scan. Guys, I'm going to link a channel down below, Go Meow Creations. He is an awesome dude and has helped me tremendously in a lot of different ways, and he has a lot of content for this type of thing on his channel. And he will be able to shine a light on this product way more than I will, just because he's more knowledgeable in 3D scanning. So if you guys really want to see this in its full potential, I'm going to link next to the link to this. I'll link his channel as well. So definitely take a look there. But I'm really looking forward to finding a use case for this and showing what it's capable of, because this is just remarkable technology and it goes directly hand in hand with 3D printing. So yeah, awesome. All right, moving right along here, we have something from Biqu. They have come out with some more amazing products, really mind-blowing stuff. They're moving at a lightning pace, making all kinds of amazing components for 3D printing. And if you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Biqu and Biqu in general, but check this out. First of all, you get a rubber duck. You gotta love the rubber duck. I have a collection. Check out this board. This is called the Manta. Actually, we gotta unbox it. Oh! Wow. There's almost too much to go over with this board. Look at the amount of stepper drivers that you can mount to this puppy. Yeah, so nice terminals, almost like on a power supply. Nicely labeled. Motor power, bed out. Every possible connection that you might ever want for your 3D printer. Look how nicely everything is labeled. I mean, you know, hiding this behind a shroud is just despicable at this point. We got USB-C, we got a dedicated Ethernet cable, regular USB ports, nice fuses, lots and lots of ports for everything imaginable. But this isn't all. As you can see, there is a spot right here for a board, and it is a spot for a Raspberry Pi Compute Module 4. I have been actually trying to get my hands on one of those for a long time now, for probably 4 or 5 months. I have another product by theirs where it's a pad screen, a nice 7-inch screen, kind of like what's included on the BX, except the back of it, well, actually just like the BX, you can put on a Raspberry Pi, just a Compute Module 4 to have it run. It's a nice giant touch screen, and this is a similar fashion. You can just attach this thing directly. As you can see, there's pins right here. It is a direct mount and integration with this board. So not only can you power pretty much everything directly off of this board, any machine that you might even come close to imagining, but you can also have a significant amount of power with the compute module. So the next part to that is they know that there's a shortage of these devices, so they have made this, a rubber duck. I'm just kidding. So this is an antenna. Let's check this little guy out. So this is their answer to the shortage of Raspberry Pis. It is a similar board from them directly that should be significantly more readily available. So this is the Biqu CB1 board, and this is supposed to be the answer to the shortage of these Raspberry Pis that are happening. And this board kind of direct mounts right here on the board like this. Hardware inside for it, antenna for the Wi-Fi that's easily mountable, essentially giving you infinite amounts of power. You can run Clipper. It is native on these boards. You can run Octoprint natively. They give you every single possible plug connector that you might ever want for this. All you need is your own crimping tool. Alright, there's a lot more than I expected in there as I dumped them into my hand. If you guys want to see something specific built with this, let me know and I'll see what I can do. Obviously, I would love to build a Voron at some point in my 3D printing career, so to say. It just hasn't been in the cards. I do have a ton of parts that would help me make one, but finding the time in between all these machines would be really tricky. And I mean, the only way I'd really be able to do it is to just not do any other type of video, only the build. And there's a ton of that on YouTube already, so I'm not sure I'm ready to jump into that quite yet. But there's so much information on this. My channel isn't necessarily the most technical channel. I deal with a lot more simple beginner stuff. But guys, let me tell you where this board is not even that expensive. It is, if you take a look at the price, it is actually cheaper than what you might think. And getting something like this might be the last one you'll ever need, as long as something like this can fit into your build. I know a lot of people get fed up with stock boards and end up buying something aftermarket. But yeah, this is definitely one of the best ones you can probably buy, at least at the moment, in terms of just what you can do. And this can definitely power quite the machine. Yeah, the Big Tree Tech Manta, amazing. All right, and last but not least, this was actually sent to me by a subscriber, and his name is Andrew. I'm not going to give out the rest of his information, but he wrote me this awesome little letter, which I really appreciated, and he even gave me a sample of really cool filament that I'm going to check out a little later. But here is something that he sent me. Actually, let me take it apart. And I thought this was actually a really brilliant idea. He made this little PCB that essentially mounts to your Hotend. And he has this little box that goes around it for easy mounting. You can double side tape this somewhere or integrate a mount. It has an attachment point right over here. But essentially what it does is, instead of running wires all the way down through to your Hotend, what you can do is get power all the way up to your Hotend. It goes in this way along with the temperature sensors. And then all of your fans and all of your other components that are around your Hotend just go to this little sister board. So essentially how the Sprite extruder is, or some of the other things, or some of the other printers that integrate a little board on top of the Hotend, making all the connections nice and easy and small, easy to swap in case that's something that you're doing. He made this little tiny board, and I thought this was a clever idea and an easy, nice little way to do it. It also gives you something really interesting where it has this trim pot right over here for your fan, and there is a switch to turn it on. And essentially what it does is allow you to control your fan speed, and that's mostly done so that you can throw on something like a Noctua, for example. So if you go to half speed, you're literally using half the power, and as you guys know, the Noctua fans are 12 volts instead of 24. So if you have a 24 system, this will let you run different power fans with this little pot right over there. So yeah, he made this little printout for me where it shows you the power going in, how to set it all up, what it does, what its functions are. And I thought this was a really clever idea, and thank you very much, Andrew, for sharing it with me. If you guys think something like this is cool, let Andrew know down in the comments below so that he knows that you guys also think it's cool. He wrote here, Daughter Board V1, that's the name, and I honestly think this is a cool idea. Wow, that was a lot of really cool 3D print related products. I'm super excited for pretty much all of these things. Now, let me know down in the comments below if there's something that caught your eye specifically. Do you have questions about one of these things? Do you think one of these deserves its own video? That is something I'd really like to know. There was a ton here. I know the categories are all over the place, but I'm just so thankful for these companies giving me a chance, sending some of these things to me, or giving me the opportunity to buy them. And I just think that all this stuff could be useful in one way or another, so I figured one of these type of videos would be really helpful to just shine a light on some of this stuff. And help us out with some projects that we have going, and just help out with videos that we have coming up. So let me know down there if something is of interest to you specifically. Also, down below, please be sure that if something caught your eye, to use my links. They're affiliate links, so they're free for you guys to use. However, by using them, you help the channel out a little tiny bit, and everything helps. Speaking of helping the channel, we have a Patreon set up where you guys can help directly, but also get to see all of these videos early before they go live on YouTube, as well as get the opportunity to direct message me if you have some kind of question or something you guys want me to look at. That's definitely the best place to do that. The second thing we have is the Discord channel. That's definitely 100% free. There's a lot of people on there having conversations, like-minded people, sharing prints, helping troubleshoot machines, recommendations for products. That's just such a fun community to be a part of. I'm definitely on there daily. I check it many times a day. Just fun to be in there and have conversations with all of you guys, my subscribers. So I appreciate you guys. Another thing that I'm working on is YouTube memberships. You can see a join button down below if you scroll down a little bit, and I'm still, to be totally transparent, trying to figure out 100% how to make that portion more useful, but it definitely helps out the channel if you guys become a YouTube member. So I think that's all for me. Definitely want to hear from you, but as always, I'll see you guys down in the comments. Later.